Hello all, if you are new, my name is Marin. Welcome to or welcome back to my channel. I'm so glad you are here. Today's video is going to be my 2024 series recap where I am going to take you through all of my series stats for the past year. So let's go ahead and get into it. So this video is going to be broken up into two parts. I am going to first of all take you through my 2024 series stats, and then I am going to give you a full breakdown of all of the series that I am still currently working on or would still like to read. So that's how this is going to work. I will include timestamps down below if you want to kind of jump around, but we're going to go ahead and start off with my 2024 series recap. So I have currently read 114 books thus far in 2024, and 44 of them were series books, which works out to 40% of my total reading. In terms of a breakdown of the series, 15 were first books in series, 22 were series continuations, and 7 were series finales. So I did finish 7 series, obviously, just based on that number. The series that I did complete were The Darkest Minds by Alexandra Bracken, Hex Hall by Rachel Hawkins, the Insipidity Scripts series by Nnedi Okorafor, Fractured Fables by Alex E. Harrow, Elements of Cadence by Rebecca Ross, Homicide by Philippe Swarzoni based on the full-length novel by David Simon, and the Wilder Wood series by Hannah Whitten. Those were the 7 series that I completed. I also caught up on 4 series. Those were the Finley Donovan series, the Heartstopper series, and then The Grandest Game, which is the spin-off of the Inheritance games by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. And then the final one is the Percy Jackson series. He is currently writing a senior year trilogy that he's kind of tacked on as part of the Percy Jackson series, so I'm just calling it Percy Jackson, but I did read book 7 of that. In terms of the series that I started, I did read 15 first books. One was a duology, which I did complete. I just read the first and second one, but I did start and decided not to continue 4 of those series. Those are Queen of Thieves by B.Z. Marsh, The Vampire Chronicles by Anne Rice, Alan Quatermain by H. Rider Haggard, and the Red Queen series by Victoria Aveyard. I actually read the first 3 books in that series before DNFing in book 3. This means that I am planning on continuing with 10 of the new series that I started last year. So I am planning on continuing the Shades of London series by Maureen Johnson, Assistant to the Villain by Hannah Nicole Mayer, the Vera Wong series by Jessie Q. Satanto, the Curse Worker series by Holly Black, Heist Society by Allie Carter, Women of Troy by Pat Barker, Murder Most Unladylike by Robin Stevens, Magnolia Parks by Jessa Hastings, Wildwood by Juliette Marillier, and again, The Grandest Game by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. So that is the recap of 2024. I did manage to finish 7 series, but I have added 10 to my TBR, so not great there, but I'm doing the best I can considering that so many series keep coming out. I just feel like almost everything nowadays is part of a series, and it's so difficult to kind of stay on top of things. So anyway, now we're going to go ahead and dive into all of the series that I am still wanting to read. I have divided these into duologies, trilogies, and then what I'm calling sagas. So that is series with more than 3 books. So that's basically how I've broken this down. I'm going to go ahead and start off with duologies. So I am still wanting to finish The Handmaid's Tale by Margaret Atwood, Eon by Alison Goodman, We Were Liars by E. Lockhart, Wildwood by Juliette Marillier, Rachel Crawl by Megan Golden, Sisters of Salt by Erin A. Craig, Roots of Chaos by Samantha Shannon, and Vera Wong by Jessie Q. Satanto. Now, Sisters of Salt and Roots of Chaos are supposedly going to have more books in the series, but as of right now, there are only 2 books in the series, which is why I've put them under duology. Once I have finished the final book in said duology, duology, I will at least be caught up. So my goal is to at least catch up with these series before further things are released. Next, we have trilogies. There are quite a few of them that I am wanting to read, and for the most part, actually I think for every one of these, I have only read one book in this trilogy. So the trilogies that I am still interested in reading include the Indian Lake trilogy by Stephen Graham Jones, the Mara Dyer trilogy by Michelle Hodkin, the Study series by Maria V. Snyder, the Strands series by Jane Nickerson, A Good Girl's Guide to Murder by Holly Jackson, Assistant to the Villain by Hannah Nicole Mayer, Shades of London by Maureen Johnson, Curse Workers by Holly Black, Heist Society by Allie Carter, Women of Troy by Pat Barker, and the Metamorphoses series by Sarah McCary. That is 11 trilogies that I'm currently in the middle of, in case you're counting. And then finally, we have the saga. So these are series where there are more than 3 books in the series. And for these, I have read like a different number of them. So I have read a good portion of some of these series, but I have not read very much at all of other series. So here we go. We have The Queen's Thief by Megan Whalen Turner. I have read 2 books of that series. The Diviners by Libba Bray. I've only read the first. Code Name Verity by Elizabeth Wine. I have only read 1. The Bone Season by Samantha Shannon. I have only read 1, but she has since rewritten this series, so I'm basically starting over and will need to reread the newly released version of the first book, if that makes sense. The Bartimaeus series by Jonathan Stroud. I have read 3 of the 4. The Wayward Children's series. I have read 3 of the 10. The Inheritance Games series by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. I have read all of the main series plus the Brothers Hawthorne. I just have the little collection of novellas left, so that one is almost done. The Finley Donovan series, I have read everything that has been released, but I am putting it under sagas because I believe there are supposed to be 7 books, and the 5th book is coming out, right? Is that right? I think it's the 5th book that's coming out in 2025. I can't quite remember, but I am on track with that one. The Murder Most Unladylike series, there are 9 books plus 2 collections of novellas. I have only read the first book, and that is by Robin Stevens. The Heartstopper series, I have read everything that has been released. I know that there is one more that is coming out either at the end of 2025 or beginning of 2026, so that is the only one that I have remaining left to read. I am also still working through the original Nancy Drew series. I have read through number 36, and my goal is to read through 56. Those were the originally published ones, and I am still planning on reading 1 per month in 2025. And the final series is the Magnolia Parks series, which I have only read the first book of, and I believe she is planning on writing at least 2 more books in that series. Now, there are 2 series that I did not include in my duologies, trilogies, or sagas series because I do not yet know when the next books in that series are going to be released. So that includes Book of Night by Holly Black. The second book is supposed to be called Thief of Night, and she was supposed to be starting writing it once she finished the last book she released, I think, but I haven't heard anything recently, so that one I'm kind of just not including in this count because it may or may not get written. And then the other series is the Percy Jackson series by Rick Riordan. He is writing, as I mentioned, that senior year series, and the 8th book has not been announced with a title or a release date, so it's at least not going to be coming out in 2025. So I've not put that in there either. I am caught up on both of those though, so when the next book is released, I will be ready for it. Now, this breaks down to 33 series that I am still in the middle of. If we take out Book of Night and Percy Jackson, that brings me to 31. I did go ahead and take a look and see what my series list has looked like the past few years. So I first started tracking my series in 2021, and at that point I had 51 series that I was in the middle of. So 51 series in 2021. That dropped down to 48 series in 2022, but in 2022 I set myself a goal to read 22 series or finish 22 series in 2022, which I did accomplish. So that dropped it down to 33 series in 2023, and I am now at 31 series in 2024. So slowly but surely, my series that I am wanting to read have been ticking down. It is just taking a while. So again, that happens when so many series keep being released, and I am currently reading the start of another series that isn't even on here because I haven't finished it yet, so I'm not officially putting it on the series TBR. I also still have a ton of book ones on my want to read list on Goodreads, so it's like this never-ending cycle, but that's okay. My goal each year is to have less series on that unfinished series list than I started the year with, so we will see what this list looks like at the end of 2025. I am hopeful that all of the series that I only have one book remaining in will get ticked off in this new year, but we'll see how it goes. So anyway, that is my 2024 series recap. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please leave me a thumbs up. Consider subscribing to my channel if you would like to see more from me. If you made it to the end of this video and would like to leave me an emoji to show you were here, let's just go with the good old book stack emoji, as that kind of sums up a book series in my mind. And otherwise, I will see you in my next video. Bye, everyone.